is still red and my blue litmus is still blue. So I have not changed yet from a base to an acid. So we're going to add more of the hydrochloric acid. Sometimes you do this drop-wise if you're almost at the point of change. Sometimes it tells you to add several milliliters at a time. You have to read your procedure to tell you what it indicates. So I'm going to mix by tilting once or twice, open the stopper to release any pressure that may be formed, stopper it tightly, and shake well to mix the two solutions. And once again, now I have a moist stopper, and notice that I'm still using the same piece of litmus paper, and I work my way up the litmus paper to test the solution. Well, notice what I have now. The red litmus is no longer changing to blue, it's still red, while the blue litmus has changed to red. So I have changed my solution that was initially basic. Remember that it changed red litmus to blue, and now I have converted it into an acid. I have neutralized the base and added an excess of hydrochloric acid to the solution so that my solution has now become just acidic. Technique we're going to show now is how to make a saturated solution. As you may recall, a solution is saturated if no more solute will dissolve in the solution. So how can we tell if we have dissolved as much solute as we can? Well, the only way to tell is to have an excess of solute and have some of it at the bottom of the test tube, not completely dissolved. So we're going to make a saturated solution of ferrous ammonium sulfate. To do so, I'm going to place about 2 milliliters of water into a test tube. Of course, we're using distilled or deionized water. And we're going to add a scoop of ferrous ammonium sulfate, the size of perhaps 1 or 2 peas, just a small amount of the ferrous ammonium sulfate. And we're going to place it inside. And I'm going to tilt my test tube a little bit because I got some of the ferrous ammonium sulfate down the sides, or I can use a stirring rod to help get all the crystals into the solution. I can either mix using the stirring rod, or we can also use the stopper. Tilt once or twice, release any pressure that may be formed, stopper again, and shake very, very, very well. We now look carefully at our solution up close, and we're going to tell whether we have any crystals left at the bottom. That would tell us that we have a saturated solution. Another way to prepare a saturated solution, once again, we know that it's saturated if we have some crystals left at the bottom, some crystals of the solute. Another way, and this is perhaps a quicker way, is to add a large amount of the crystals. In this case, we're doing ferrous ammonium sulfate. We're going to add a large amount to the bottom of our test tube. And we're then going to add water So we have a large amount of crystals in the bottom, and we're going to add the ionized water from a squeeze bottle so we can wash down the crystals. and we're going to stir using a stirring rod. And we let the solution settle. Some of those crystals will go to the bottom, and you can see clearly that we have crystals of ferrous ammonium sulfate in the bottom, and that we have a solution above. We know now that that solution is saturated. Flame tests are a very important technique to use to determine possible ions. What we're going to do now is demonstrate the use of the flame test. We have a piece of wire, nichrome wire, that we're going to twist into a loop, and the loop